Well, hello there friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you saw from the title of the video, we're talking all about depression. If you saw my last video, you'll know that I'm doing a mental health series, and this of course is a part of that. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about in the series is depression, and then we'll move on to things like anxiety, suicidal thoughts, the list goes on. So this is going to be something that is very helpful for anyone who is confused about what they're going through. And of course, in these trying times, it definitely helps to know what the heck you're going through and why it's happening. So today, we're going to cover the topic of depression, what it means to me, what it is, why it could be happening to you, and all the reasons and ways that you can heal from it and hopefully change your life in a positive way. So what I've done is I've created a list here on my little notepad so I can not forget to talk about anything. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was just the definition, or my perspective or definition of what depression is. To me, depression is a lowered state of when you're, think of depression as depressing, and then obviously anything that you're depressing is going to cause your frequency to dip. So anyone who is struggling with depression is going to feel oftentimes numb. You're going to feel very sad. You're going to notice that your body language oftentimes shows when you are depressed, because you're going to carry yourself with your shoulders slouched. You're going to be head down. Oftentimes it is hard to make eye contact with people. All of these things are going to be a sign that you may be struggling with depression and maybe not even know it. So first thing is identifying if you have this. Are you walking in a way that is slouched over? Because your body is the first thing that you see when you see someone. Like, body language speaks. How you carry yourself says a lot about your energy. So that would be the first thing, is identifying if this is something that you think you may be struggling with, or maybe you know someone in your life who is struggling with this too. So depression, honestly, I haven't read the definition on Google, which I could look it up right now just to get the exact definition for you guys. Definition of depression: feelings of severe despondency and dejection. I don't really know what that means, so let's look to the next one. And the second definition is a long and severe recession in an economy or market. So I guess that's applying to like depression in terms of the economy, but that doesn't apply to what we're talking about today. So the first one, how I take that is, if you're in a state where it's hard to be happy, where you feel like the things that you enjoy aren't working for you anymore, then chances are you have depression, or you're struggling somewhat with depression. So with that being said, the first thing I want to talk about is those people who are struggling with possibly just deficiencies when it comes to your health. This is the first thing that I look at if I'm ever feeling down, or that maybe I think I'm starting to get into like a depressed mood, is, am I eating the proper foods? Because getting the nutrients and nourishing your body is like the biggest thing when it comes to feeling good and your brain health, which is huge on mental health in general, obviously. And then things like exercise. Are you being active? Are you having and living a healthy lifestyle? All these little things are going to affect how you feel on a daily basis. So if you are a healthy person who has a very, good habits when it comes to exercise and activity, if you're eating very healthy and you're still dealing with these feelings, or you're still feeling depressed, that is where you're going to move into the next step, which is, are you stuffing your emotions? Are you processing through past hurts? Are you stuffing down feelings of sadness? Maybe you feel angry and you don't want to feel it, so you're depressing it. And that is where I think most of our depression comes from, is literally depressing our feelings and emotions, because everything is energy. And if you're depressing all of these things within your body, obviously you're going to feel down. If you think about it, like stuffing is going to push you down, down, down. Kind of makes sense. So first thing I'll say is, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to bash on medication. If you are struggling with any of these things, definitely go see a doctor. But my personal opinion on medications and things like that is, if you have to do that, of course, I'm not going to bash on you or judge you if that is what you need to do. But my thing is, can you look for alternative options when it comes to healing your mental health, dealing with depression in a way that isn't going to numb you? Because I know that a lot of medications out there, what they're meant to do is actually stuff and numb you so that you're not feeling your emotions. So clearly there's something that we need to face in terms of emotions. Otherwise, why are they giving us pills to numb ourselves? Something to think about. So with that being said, one of the other ways that I've helped myself when it comes to dealing with feelings of depression is sitting with myself in like a meditative state, or even just in silence, and asking myself, what emotions or feelings am I trying to stuff down, or what am I trying to hide from? What feelings am I running away from? And for me personally, I noticed it was a lot of feelings of grief, feelings of sadness, and anger and rage. Those were like the main ones for me. And everything about me just despised feeling these ways. I pushed it down. But the thing is, you can only stuff these things for so long until the body's like, it's gotta come out. And so depression can happen as a result of too much baggage being compressed and stuffed in the body. So, this being said, if you need help, if you want guidance or support when it comes to feeling your emotions, because sometimes these emotions and feelings can be very scary, especially if you come from a past of having trauma or abuse in your life. It's not fun, and it's definitely not easy to look at these darker parts of yourself. So I definitely recommend getting a therapist or talking to someone who you trust when it comes to facing these things about yourself. And that has definitely helped me, as having a support system and people who can help me through this in a healthy way instead of, allowing yourself to spiral down. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is how depression can actually be a sign that you're going through a spiritual awakening. A lot of things can happen in your emotional body when the universe, whatever it is you believe in, God, is trying to get you to wake up to a different reality. And this definitely happened for me when I was first getting myself out of the religion that I was raised in, was that I started going through these feelings of depression, because what was happening was life was trying to get me to realize that old way of being, those old things, those things from the past, were not serving me anymore. And I'm going to continue to feel sad and depressed until I get out of that energy and move myself on to bigger and better things that are for me and that are going to be fruitful in my life. So that would be the next thing, possible spiritual awakening. And I kind of already talked about the grief and processing through your emotions. Once again, getting help if you need that. And then when it comes to stuckness, that was the next thing I wanted to talk about. Is like with anything in life, obviously we're constantly growing, we're evolving, we're learning more about ourselves, we're learning more about other people. But when we reach a point, whether it's in a job, it's in a relationship, or anything really, where you reach a point where you're like, I'm not growing anymore, I'm kind of stuck and stagnant. Feelings of stuckness for me personally, when I've reached this point in my life, I've started to notice that certain feelings start to creep up on me, similar to depression. And that was when I started to realize this is not going anywhere for me. If I stay in something that is not serving me, if I stay in a relationship, if I stay in a job, in a part of the world where I know I'm not supposed to be, I'm going to start to feel depressed because it's not for me. It's not something that fulfills me. And the more sensitive you are, the more likely you are to feel these lower emotions, because if you're not numbing yourself, then it's going to come up. So listen to your emotions, listen to your feelings. They're all trying to lead you in the right direction. So you have to learn to trust that, to move on, and then you'll notice when you're moving in the right direction toward things that are fruitful for you and that are for you in your life, you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel free. That's also another sign that that was right for you. I'm going to finish up by talking about the importance of processing through feelings of depression. And the main reason is, the longer that you stuff down your feelings and the longer that you pretend like depression is not there when it is, the more likely you are to start cycling into self-harming thoughts and suicidal thoughts, which is something that I personally have experienced multiple times in my life, and it is a touchy subject, and I know that a lot of people don't like to talk about it, so trigger warning. But the truth is, if we don't face these things, then obviously it's just going to keep getting worse until we change. And I've learned to look at life in terms of everything working out for me. And so if I'm being pushed to go in a certain direction and I'm fighting it and I'm fighting it and I'm fighting it, I'm really only fighting my own growth and my own happiness. So that's kind of like a different perspective and way that I've learned to look at it is, if you're feeling a lot of lower emotions, depression, if you're even having suicidal thoughts, first of all, speak to someone about it and get help, because it's not something you should be ashamed of. There are so many people out there who deal with the same things, and you're definitely not alone, so definitely get help. And then other than that, is just asking the questions, letting yourself feel through your emotions, and allowing yourself to be in a place where you trust. You trust that your body knows what it needs to do, and your feelings are speaking to you and telling you that either you need to move on from a situation, that whatever you're doing is not serving you anymore. Listen to that and try and find different ways that you can change up what you're doing to see if it works, see if it makes you happier. You know, if it's a job, try getting a different job. If it's the people that you're hanging around, maybe stop hanging out with them so much, find a different group of friends, move to a different place. Or if you're unhappy in your relationship, take some space, you know, take some time to see, is it this person or is it something that I'm dealing with, you know, within myself? So all of these things have been helpful for me, and if you guys have any other questions specifically about depression, let me know in the comments below, and of course I'll make another video about that. But the next one coming up is going to be all about anxiety, and I am so excited to get into this with you guys. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.